Hello all you out there in YouTube land, this is Trans8010 and I am back with my 100th video spectacular. And not to really give anything away as to what this video is going to be, but you know what, I'm just so giddy. Here we go. That is right. For my 100th video, a video that a lot of people have been asking for, messaging me, some of them putting them in the comments. Here is my very own review on Combat Belt Batman. I got this guy, well, a similar version of this guy when I was just 6 years old. It was my birthday. My uncle came over, gave me a package, said he wasn't going to make it to my party. I was a little upset, but you know, he gave me this big package. Inside of this big package was this figure, plus the Joker, and the Bat All-Terrain vehicle, the BATV. Really cool vehicle that's on treads, and you pull back on the motor and he stands up, and then you push down on something to fire a missile. It was really cool. But, you know, okay, I'm going a little off track here. I played with that thing forever. I mean, here I had Batman, the Joker. I had, you know, Batman plus his arch nemesis. I mean, what more could you want? This was just awesome. And they were really the only two Batman figures that I had at that point. Besides, I mean, for the animated series. I mean, I had some of the Batman Returns. I had, you know, the Dark Knight collection stuff. But this was the first two Batman figures that I had. And pretty much it's like everything Batman Returns and movies just kind of like went out the window. Well, not out the window, but buried deep in the closet, never to be seen or heard again until I moved out. So, it was all Batman the Animated Series. And really, if I didn't have any more figures, I probably would have just been happy because it's Combat Belt Batman and the Joker. What makes this figure so special? Well, this is the ultimate representation of the Dark Knight detective. And it is the definitive Batman action figure of all of the Batman action figures. Although a lot of people will argue that the Superpowers Batman is the definitive, but I don't really like the little punch gimmick. It's a nice figure, but just the gimmick. Although I think that defines the term action figure. So he has these cuffs. And they actually do fit, so once again, we're bringing back Joker. They actually do fit around the figure's wrists. He could escape very easily from those, but, you know, just the fact that he's actually got cuffs. Name any other Batman figure that had cuffs. Just cuffs, not some like, you know, cuff weapon or some headdress with a cuff on it. No, actual cuffs. Comes with this really cool snazzy belt with deco that belongs in the 1930s and 40s sci-fi serials, which is awesome because that's exactly what the Batman the Animated Series was supposed to look like. And we have this really cool grappling hook launcher. Not only does it launch the grapple, but you could also put this missile inside, the Batarang missile, and launch the missile. Also, it's got this little peg, so it can actually be held in Batman's hand. Pretty nifty, huh? It looks, pretty nifty that he can hold it, but it does look more like he's going to club somebody or axe them to death. And other than his standard articulation, which was common at the time, it's the early 1990s, his head and his shoulders and hips. And he also has like this really nice soft goods cape, which looks really awesome when with the grappling hook as he's being swung about, because these hooks, they can actually hook onto something. But unfortunately, I don't have anything in the house or anything in my area that I can hook this onto, which is sad because I would really like to demonstrate it. It's the definitive version of Batman, but of course there are going to be some cons to this figure. And the only real con that I have is, well, the string for this is too long for one, but it's really the paint scheme. It's black with a blue plastic. Now, I think they should have done more of a dark blue. To me, I think they should have done a dark blue, or at least maybe put some blue stripe highlights in there to kind of look like it's from the show. It may have looked maybe goofy, but to some, but to me, it's just something that I've always wanted to see done. Either that, or maybe a very midnight blue, very, very dark blue, almost on the verge of black, so you have a very nice contrast between blue and black. Because I think the only reason why they did like this dark blue plastic, I mean, it does look gray, especially if it's when the figure ages terribly. I've seen examples look like a putrid gray. But I think the reason why they did this so that the figure would still be appealing on store shelves to children. Because after all, a black and a gray figure, some kids are probably going to pass that up for, let's say, a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers toy or a Jurassic Park dinosaur or whatever was on the shelves at that point. So I think, even though I'd like to put it as a con, it's also a pro as well. It's a con because collectors never really did get the definitive color scheme for their animated series action figures. But it's a pro because it also makes the figure look very nicely. And there's a con for some people. A lot of people don't like the belt. I think the belt looks snazzy, as you can have already said. I've already praised it enough. It's really cool because everything can hook up to the belt. See? Everything can hook up to the belt. This hooks up to a peg in there. The cuffs hook up here. And then, of course, we got the Batarang launcher here. Missile. And really, whenever you think of Batman, this is really all that you really need right here. This is an action figure that not only gives us the Dark Knight in his basic crime-fighting accessories, but also gives us a belt that functions as the utility belt. I mean, what more could you ask for with this figure? And I know I've gone on a little bit more than I really should have, but it's my 100th video. It's probably my favorite action figure of all time. Well, definitely my favorite Batman action figure of all time. Enough for me to buy it twice. Because the one that I lost as a kid, when you want your toys back, you want your toys back. And I remember I spent more money than I really should on this. But the thing is, for some reason, they discontinued this guy after only 1 year. 1993 was the only time you saw this guy on shelves. Well, I would say that that's probably a lie. I hope you all enjoyed this review. If you have the money and really want to splurge on a combat belt Batman, I would suggest you go ahead and do it. It will be the best purchase you ever made. If you want it as an investment, leave it on the card because in 20 years, I can really see that baby going as far as $200 mint on card. For the rest of us, well, you may just want to appreciate this video, but other than that, unless they come up with a definitive animated series action figure, this is it. So, until next time, this is Trans8010, and I am signing off.